Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today the Srimad-bhagavatam 8th Canto, 7th chapter, 31st verse. Can you check when we start to make sure the sound? Sounds okay? Okay. Late giri trakila lokapala Varinsha Vaikuntha Surendra Gamyam Jyoti Parang Yatra Rajastamascha Satvang Nayad Brahma Nirashta Vedam Late Giri Trakila Lokapala Virinsha Vaikuntha Surendra Gamyam Jyoti Parang Yatra Rajastamascha Satvang Nayad Brahma Nirashta Vedam Late Giri Trakila Lokapala Virinsha Vaikuntha Surendra Gamyam Jyoti Parang Yatra Rajastamascha Satvang Nayad Brahma Nirashta Vedam Late Giri Trakila Lokapala Varinsha Vaikuntha Surendra Gamyam Jyoti Parang Yatra Rajastamascha Satvang Nayad Brahma Nirashta Vedam Late Giri Trakila Lokapala Virinsha Vaikuntha Surendra Gamyam Jyoti Parang Yatra Rajastamascha Satvang Nayad Brahma Nirashta Vedam Word for word. na, not, te, of your lordship, Giri tra, O King of the mountains, Akila Lokapala, all the directors of departments of material activities, Virincha, Lord Brahma, Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu, Sura Indra, the King of Heaven, Gamyam, they can understand, Jyoti, effulgence, Param, transcendental, Yatra, wherein, Rajaha, the mode of passion, Tamaha, or Tamaha cha, and the mode of ignorance, Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Na, not, Yat Brahma, which is impersonal Brahman, Nirashtabedam, without distinction between demigods and human beings. Translation. O Girisha, since the impersonal Brahman effulgence is transcendental to the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the various directors of this material world certainly cannot appreciate it or even know where it is. It is not understandable even to Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, or the King of Heaven, Mahendra. Repeat after me. O Lord Girisha, since the impersonal Brahman effulgence is transcendental to the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the various directors of this material world cannot appreciate it and even know where it is. It is not understandable even to Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, or the King of Heaven, Mahendra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Brahma Jyoti is actually the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 40. Yasha Prabha Prabhavo Jagat Ananda Koti. Yasha Prabha Prabhavato Jagat Ananda Koti Kotishvadesha Vasudhani Vibhuti Vinam Yad Brahman Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamahang Bhajami. Quote, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Although the impersonal feature of the Absolute is an expansion of the rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not need to take care of the impersonalist. He does not need to take care of the impersonalist who enter the Brahma Jyoti. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 4, Maya tatam idang sarvang jagat vyakta murtina. In my impersonal feature, I pervade the entire universe. End quote. Thus, the avyakta murti, the impersonal feature, is certainly an expansion of Lord Krishna's energy. Mayavadis who prefer to merge into the Brahman effulgence worship Lord Shiva. The mantras referred to in text 29 are called Mukhani Panchopanishados, Tavesha. Mayavadis take all these mantras seriously in worshipping Lord Shiva. These mantras are as follows. There are many such mantras described here, defined here. Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Shantyai. Number 2, Mahadevaya Dhimahi Vidyayai. 3, Tanno Rudra Pratishtayai. 4, Prachodayat Drityai. 5, Agorebyas Tama. 6, Atta Gorebya Moha. 7, Agorebyo Moksha. 8, Agoratare Byo Nidra. 9, Sarvabhya Sarva Vyadhyai. 10, Sarva Sarvyo Mrityave. 11, Namaste Stu Kshuda. 12, Rudra Rupebhyas Trishna. 13, Vamadevaya Raja. These all have dots after them, so this is just the beginning. I guess it's just the beginning of the mantra. That's what it is. 14, Jeshtaya Swaha. 15, Srishtaya Ratyai. 16, Rudraya Kalyanyai. 17, Kalaya Kama. 18, Kala Vikarnaya Sandiniyai. 19, Bala Vikarnaya Kriya. 20, Balaya Vrijai. 21, Bala Chayai. 22, Pramattanaya Datrayai. 23, Sarva Bhuta Damanaya Brahmanayai. 24, Mana Shoshiyai. 25, Unmanaya Zwara. 26, Sadyo Jatang Prapadyami Sijai. 17, Sadyo Chatyaya Vai Nama Vijay. 28, Bhave Nityai. 29, Bhave Lakshmiyai. 30, Nati Bhava Veda. 31, Bhajasva Mang Kantyai. 32, Bhava Swada. 33, Ud Bhavaya Prabhu. 34, Ishana Sarva Vidyanam Shashinyai. 35, Ishwara Sarva Bhutanam Abhayada. 36, Brahma Dipatir Brahmanan Dipatir Brahman Brahmishtada. 37, Shiva me astu marichai 38 Sadashiva Shwalin Yavi. That was the end of the list. The impersonal Brahman is unknown even to the other directors of the material creation, including Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and even Lord Vishnu. This does not mean, however, that Lord Vishnu is not omniscient. Okay? Lord Vishnu is omniscient, but he does not need to understand what is going on in his all-pervading expansion. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that although everything is an expansion of him, Mayatatam idang sarvam, he does not need to take care of everything. Not chahang tvishyavastita, since there are various directors like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Indra. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnanajana Shalakaya Chakshur Urvitam. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, it would seem strange, Lord Vishnu does not know something. He's omniscient, but with the okay. So, now Lord Vishnu, and of course Krishna, who is the source of all the Vishnu forms, they don't directly have to know everything. They do know everything, but they don't have to. They don't have to directly deal with so many things. It's just like the material world, each universe is created by Lord Brahma. So, of course, the empowerment, Lord Brahma is empowered. Lord Brahma is empowered to do that creation. He's empowered to do that, create everything. But Lord Krishna, who's ultimately given that empowerment, he's simply enjoying in his own pastimes. Krishna is so great that he can simultaneously be living in wonderful situation in Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, with his wonderful his relationships with his pure devotees, very intimate relationships. He's doing that. Nobody's worrying. He's not worrying. Nobody's worrying about what's going on in the rest of the universe. But at the same time, he has expanded himself into the Vishnu forms and empowered the different demigods to take care of the different material affairs. Or Vishnu only comes into the scene again when the demigods can't figure out how to solve some problem. So this is the greatness of God. Everyone says, every religion says, how God is great. God is great, God is good, all these things. It is a fact. But no one, well, even we cannot fully understand about how much and to what degree God is great. We cannot conceive of that. But we get a little glimpse. We get a little glimpse of these of the Lord's greatness by studying the Srimad-bhagavatam. We've been seeing in this chapter how Lord Vishnu, after being approached by the demigods, he's given some instructions on how to, about the churning of the ocean, and telling exactly what they need to do. And then when things start falling apart, when the Mandara mountain, when the demons and demigods tried to move it, it was falling apart, and it was actually killing the demigods and demons, so many of them. So Lord Vishnu steps in. Okay, you can't handle this. So he rectified everything. He brought everyone who had been killed back to life, and he sent for Garuda, who actually carried that big mountain, the Mandara mountain, to the proper place. And then of course, the demigods and the demons, even with the mountain there, as soon as the Garuda put it in the milk ocean, then of course it sunk, because mountains don't usually float on liquids. So that happened. Of course, again, Lord Vishnu comes in there, and he expands himself, or he manifests himself as the Kurma incarnation, the tortoise incarnation, and lifts the mountain up. And so he stays swimming, floating on the ocean, and so on. And so all these arrangements were made to facilitate the desire of the demigods and the demons. And ultimately, it was all part of the Lord's bigger plan to give the demigods the upper hand later on, because we'll get into that later as the chapter goes on, or into the next chapter. The next chapter after this is actually churning of the milk ocean. So what Lord does this, engaging, expanding himself in his different incarnations, and empowering the certain personalities, the demigods, to do their part, and then he just goes and plays. He just plays and enjoys himself. And Lord Vishnu also in the Vaikuntha planets. He's not directly involved in all these affairs. It's only the expansions of the Lord who are engaged in expansions, and those who have been empowered by the Lord who make sure the world goes on. And then of course the super soul, who is just an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of the Lord. He's there in every atom. The super soul is so. You can imagine he's so small. I mean, how small is an atom? It's too small to see, and yet he's in there. He's actually there, and he's making it, the atoms are actually spinning, and those things that scientists say that he's making that happen. It doesn't just happen automatically. He's making it happen to holding the whole material cosmic manifestation together. He's making gravity happen. If all of a sudden there was no gravity, what would happen? Everything would go floating up in this. The whole world would completely fall apart. but the Lord has created. He's by His powers, unseen by people, by the living entities. He's making everything work so perfectly. And then if we have a little bit of faith, and we look at the wonderful nature of the material nature, and we see how wonderfully things are working, then we have a little faith in God. Then we can say, "Oh, God is so great to see how He's making the sun rise and sunset every day. The moon goes through certain cycles every day. There's so many things that happen. Even the difficult, even the calamities of the world are happening under the direction of the Lord, because the universe. The universe itself has a purpose. The material universe. People maybe think, we're here. We all, the atheistic view. We're here. We've all come about by some accidental combination of all things like that. So we're all here. But there's actually no real purpose of life. We decide. We the people are going to decide what we consider to be the purpose of life. The purpose of life is what we create, the desire, the plans that we create. But actually, it's not a fact. Purpose of life, the purpose we've been given this life, because it didn't happen by accident. The reason that the universe is here, and the reason that the universe works the way it does, is ultimately, there's two parts. One is to give the living entities who have become rebellious of God the chance to play God. This is our playground, to try to be the center, the Lord of all we survey, trying to be the enjoyer separately from God. This is our chance, but of course we cannot do that very well because it's not our natural position. So the universe is there to give us that chance. So we get frustrated. We become very frustrated with that situation. And in due course of time, when we become enough frustrated, then we start looking for something higher. And then, of course, when we start looking for something higher, well, Krishna's already worked that out. He's already planned on that. He knew what we were going to do. He knew we'd get frustrated. So He's already sent to the Vedas, within the material world. He sent the Vedas. He sent so many pure devotees, not just on this planet, but all over the universe. He sent them to give knowledge to those who, when we have become ready to do it, to try to improve our lives, and by becoming Krishna conscious or God conscious. He's given that means. So first He gives us the material world to play around in, and then to get frustrated. Then when we're ready, then He's already given us the means by which we can become free from this material entanglement. And the material world is just like a prison. The material world is like a prison, and the idea, ideally, this doesn't work really very well in the material platform, but ideally, if someone goes to jail, someone goes to prison, by the time they come out, they should come out as a perfect, law-abiding citizen. That's the theory. But of course, that doesn't work so well. But in Krishna's prison, in the material world, we're here for a long time. We don't really remember how many lives we've had before this. But by the time we get out, we will have become very good citizens of the spiritual world. We'll become very good citizens of the spiritual world, ready to dedicate our lives fully in pure devotional service to the Lord. This is so by the time we get out of this material entanglement, that'll be a situation. And so we may think, well, if I've been spent so many lifetimes, millions, billions of lifetimes, we don't know, here, struggling like this, and if I go back to the spiritual world, how do I know that I'm not going to mess up again and start all over again, forget everything? But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that once having returned to my eternal abode, you will never take birth in this material world again. So that's Krishna's promise. So if we are going back, if we become Krishna conscious, and there's no reason that at least those who are hearing this class, who are familiar with the process of Krishna consciousness, there's no reason that we cannot become Krishna conscious. So when we become Krishna conscious, then we go back to the spiritual world, and we'll never be forced to come here again and take birth here and suffer again. But we'll be eternally engaged in our eternal rasa with Krishna in spiritual world, which is what Krishna wants. He doesn't want us to be here suffering. So then you may say, well, if God doesn't want us to suffer, and He's all powerful, why don't He just pick us up, put us in the spiritual world, forget everything? Because we have free will, and if He takes away the free will, then there's no love, because there's no loving exchange if there's no free will. And so He's not going to take away our free will just to put us in the spiritual world. He's got to convince us to voluntarily want to come back in a purified state of mind. So that's our situation. So once we do come back, means we've surrendered to Him. We've completely purified ourselves, and He's promising that once we have done that, we will not make the same mistake again and come back to this material world. Any questions, comments? No? Just be sure. Okay, if not, then we will we'll end for today, and tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow we'll be reading. Well, we found the Srila Prabhupada Nectar book, so I guess we'll continue reading with that. Yeah, it was worse, but there was somebody put another book in there and it fell behind. Behind the other books, so it's there. So I guess we continue with that, and maybe later on. I still would like to somehow fit in something we can work into, like a Bhakti Shastra course, but I'm not really ready with that right now. So and for now, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.